Hello everybody, welcome back to Venus Educators. This is Sayyida Salima Tehseen, your English educator here. After the chaos and disillusionment of the First World War, the modern age entered a new phase. One where the poets began questioning politics, society, and even faith. This new voice was sharper, bolder, and deeply concerned with human struggle. And leading this transformation was a group of brilliant writers known as the Auden group, or sometimes the poets of 1930s. Yes, yesterday we have discussed modern age. In modern age literature, we have talked about Rhymers Club and Irish dramatist. So today we are going to talk about Auden group. Auden group or Auden generation is a group of British and Irish writers who were active during 1930s. And let's see some of the important writers who are associated with Auden group. Those are W.H. Auden, Louis MacNeice, C. Dale Lewis, Stephen Spender. Apart from them, Christopher Krischer, said to be a member of this group. Generally, there are 5 members associated with it. These poets are sometimes called the 30s poets. So, what you need to remember here, Auden group or Auden generation is called as 1930s or the 30s poets. All the members knew each other personally, and most of them were educated at Oxford or Cambridge University. The important thing that is that all of them held left wing point of view. Now, what is left wing point of view? Let's try to understand what is left wing point of view. A left wing point of view is a political notion. That means it's a political social belief. What they supports? They supports equality, social justice, reforms to reduce poverty and discrimination to improve people's lives. So this is what the Auden group believes to or they associated with. So here one term comes to us, that is Max Ponde. Max Ponde was a name invented by Roy Campbell. Why? To talk about Auden group. So Roy Campbell has invented a term called Max Ponde to talk about the Auden group. He took several letters from each other of their names and make it Max Ponde. So what the Max Ponde stands for? Mac from MacNeice, Spa from Spender, On from Auden, and Day from Day Lewis. So it is actually became an acronym of their names, right? So here we have completed Auden group. Let's move to the another movement, that is Harlem Renaissance. Now what is Harlem Renaissance? While England was witnessing the rise of Auden and his circle across the Atlantic, in America another revolution was taking up. But this wasn't political, it was cultural. A movement born out of pain, hope, and creativity, where American African voices began to rise and redefine art, music, and literature. This was the Harlem Renaissance, often called the rebirth of black art and identity. From poetry to jazz, from stories to slavery, to songs to freedom, the Harlem Renaissance changed the way the world looked at black artists forever. So let's understand how this powerful movement began and how it became heartbeat of early 20th century American literature. Please do remember it is very important from the point of view UGC NET. Listen the lecture carefully. Harlem Renaissance was a movement in 1920s and 1930s that involved an explosion of American art, music and writing. It had a profound impact on African American literature, the art of writing. Harlem Renaissance has a profound impact on America because before Harlem Renaissance, most published works were written by white people, especially white men. Women were not there. But after Harlem Renaissance began, African American writers started to write about their own life, about their own culture and experiences. African American writers gave voice to several people who were slaves for 60 years. They attacked the stereotype of black American and wrote about what it felt to be left out of the mainstream in America. Around the turn of 20th century, many African American were lived in southern United States before the Civil War that happened in 1960s. African Americans were kept in slavery in South America. After Civil War, these slaves were freed. They gained freedom and most of them stayed in rural South only. How do you feel when you are left out? When you feel like nobody is taking care of you and you are nothing? So these persons felt very bad and they were, trying to fight against that. So what happens? Earlier they were living in rural South after Civil War. They stayed there itself but as freed people. In the years after Civil War, African American people wants many legal rights like right to vote, right to run for public office. In response to this, there were white people in the South who passed a series of Jim Crow laws. Here, there is a twist in the story. You just listen the whole lecture, you will get more important things about it. What does Jim Crow laws? So, Jim Crow laws said that black people could not eat at the same restaurant, can't drink from the same water fountain, can't go to the same theater, can't use the same restroom, etc. Then what happens? The migration and the beginning of Harlem Renaissance takes place. After Jim Crow laws, African American people moved to Northeast America where these laws were not implemented. Large number of black moved to Northeast America. So this shift we known as Harlem Renaissance. This movement of large African American shift to Northeast is led what we know as Harlem Renaissance because when these people from South migrated to northern part of America, they settled in Harlem, which is a place in northern Manhattan. Right? So Harlem Renaissance is when these black people decided to write about their slavery, about their sufferings. Many black people were living together and started literary movement called Harlem Renaissance Apart from this migration, the thing that affect Harlem Renaissance was a very famous form of music, that is jazz music. In early 20th century, African American musicians married African European musicians to form a new type of sound. A new type of sound was formed, and this work was known as jazz music. In 1920s, America came up with a new art form, jazz music. As a musical sound, jazz had an impact on the rhythm and the sound of poetry in Harlem Renaissance. But more than that, the ability of jazz to free people from limitation allowed many African American people to search for a new ways to express their plight of their people, and this is also known as Harlem Renaissance. So, in short, you can say that Harlem Renaissance is a movement where a large number of African American people has migrated from Southern America to North America and began to write about their bad experiences, their tragedies, their plights, what they had suffered, everything. Then this movement is called as Harlem Renaissance, and it is also associated with a music form, that is jazz music. So here you need to understand that who are the important figures, because it is also very important from the point of view of UGC NET. So the important figures are Langston Hughes, Countee, Cullen, James Weldon Johnson, Claude McKay, Zora Neale Hurston, Alan Locke. So with this, we have completed our a very important chapter, that is called Auden group and Harlem Renaissance. So these two movements are also related to the modern age literature in English. If you like the lecture, please do like and subscribe my channel. Please do support so that I can bring amazing literature movement for you. Thank you so much.